All right. Hi, everybody. We are live. And there's my little munchkin with my wife. Just to remind everybody, we are doing the Lost Mine of Phandelver campaign. If you're following on D&D Beyond right now, it is Phandelver and below. So this is actually a whole separate thing. Phandelver and below is this and then some. So using this as a rough base. So for those of you that are interested in becoming DMs or experienced DMs, whatever, uh, this is kind of what I'm using as a relatively loose guideline. So where we last left off, we were doing the the cave, Cragmaw hideout. So there we go, Cragmaw hideout. There's the DM map, and the party kind of did it somewhat backwards. So they defeated Clark the Bugbear, and then went on to defeat what should have been the first obstacle, and then retrieved our actual quarry, which is Sildar Hollowwinter, who was the traveling companion of our patron. So, long story short, there was some fighting. We came out on top, and the party has divided a bunch of the resources among themselves. So, do I need to remind everybody, like, kind of where everything left off, or how we doing as a party?
She's kind of good to kind of do it.
Well, good.
Okay,
And
so
and then we got some money and we took some tools. That's really about it.
yeah, so there were a couple resources that were divided amongst the group. A couple of pelts from the wolves, a couple of pieces of gold that were distributed amongst the group. The big uh, the big thing that is our climactic thing at the moment is, as some of you may not, or some of you may know or may not notice, uh, Kenny is not with us in the party, so we have to tie up that loose end. So some of you may or may not know his backstory, so we'll just start from the beginning. So Aeolus was a bard that was part of our group, and he's originally from Dinegal, a small village located on the Isle of Moray within the Moonshay Isles. He was a peat farmer like his father, and his father before him, and so on and so forth. So, roughly at the age of 14, he stuck aboard a trading ship bound for Candlekeep, and there he spent some time as a street urchin, honing his skills. He was a pickpocket. He stole things, blah blah blah. And then one day he happened upon a tavern. The tavern was called the Thirsty Satyr, and he saw a performance of a halfling bard named Kellen Windley, and this pretty much changed the course of his life. So Kellen became his mentor, and he spent his time learning the trade of a bardsman from Kellen. Um, that partnership came to an end one evening after a show in the town of Burdusk. Um, and after that tavern where the show was performed was closed, essentially Kellen was assassinated. So there's a couple of details we're going to leave out here that I have in the backstory. But essentially, at that point, what happened was Kellen gave Aeolus a necklace. And in that necklace is a sapphire gem. So, what the party sees as we're wrapping up all of this, they're coming out of the cave. getting ready to go back to the carriage that we had left in a safe spot, is it kind of lights up just a little bit, and there's a voice. None of you can hear it, but you see him like look down at the necklace, and he kind of grabs it and like holds it up to his ear, uh, because even though like he hears a thing, none of the rest of you can hear it. It's only whoever has the necklace uh, around their neck is hearing this. So it's a sapphire chain. Um, a bunch of other stuff I've gotten his backstory that's fun that I'm gonna leave out because I still think Kenny's gonna come back and play around some more with us, but that'll be in the future. So after the Battle of after the Battle of Cragmaw Hideout, the ring comes to life, and he hears the voice of a woman named Netheria, who is looking for Kellen. He has a brief conversation with her. You don't hear all the details, but then what he says to you is guys, like I have to go. I have to go to the Bard's College in Holdfast, and I will be there when you guys need me. Basically, is what he says, and then you just see him dart off. Um, all that you gather is whatever the hell just happened is a very important thing, and he's gone. You don't have any more time to ask questions. So that's where we are left off.
Friend of yours?
I guess he rescued and dashed.
Yeah.
I mean, more loot for us.
That's what
Should be.
happened in practicality. Is I distributed all the loot amongst y'all. Um, so the cool thing from a GM perspective, kind of going outside of story into real life, is uh, life happens. Like all four of us that you're looking at right now have had conflicts for the past couple of weeks, one way or another. So we weren't able to play. And this is one of the ways as a GM you can work all of those life events into a story. Coming back to the story, what we have to do as a party is decide what we're going to do. So we've left the caravan in a safe spot. We went to the Cragmaw hideout. We did all the things there. And now we have Sildar Hallwinter with our party. So, grabbing the wonderful book here.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we need to decide is Sildar is basically going to give us some basic information about what happened. Um, there are some things that you're going to need to find out in the town of Fandolin. And there are some things that he does not know that the goblins would have known had we played slightly differently.
You saying we didn't do what you wanted us to do?
No, not at all.
Not be railroaded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
I
at
love
all.
that for us.
So the question we have as a party is, do we go with Sildar and the cargo back to Fandolin, or do we pursue something else? And that's why we have in the background the large map of basically what's the Western world.
What city are we in currently?
Right now we're in Cragmaw Cave,
Where
which,
is
if you're
that?
looking at the big mountain, is basically the Neverwinter Woods.
Oh, we're all the way up there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, I thought we were way the fuck down there.
So are we
No.
closer to Blackford Crossing or Mount Hetno?
Let me see if I've got a better map to put up.
There we go.
I've trekked through these woods before on different campaigns, but I don't know where this cave is.
Let's do Fandolin region.
This map looks a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah, so we are. Let's do a circle.
We're
Right,
down in the lower.
Oh, we're down
right about
here.
there.
Oh, we're down south. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess the question really is like, if we go with this guy because we rescued him, like, do we get paid? Do you guys get paid now? Like, is there or is it like we have to get this guy to where he's gonna go, type thing, or?
But we had to deliver. So the goal
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
is we were to deliver this cart to a job site. So
And Fandolin's the blue square.
Okay. I mean, there's no reason not to that job, I don't think. I mean, it's not that far.
Yeah.
so
I'm
Finnick,
not
you'll
sure
be
we.
joining us on this little trip.
Hmm.
I have completely lost the trail of what I'm trying to do, so might as well for right now until I can pick up a new scent.
Fair
I
enough.
don't really see a more interesting opportunity at the moment.
There's nothing.
Yes.
I mean, you make your way across this world by getting paid, and if this will get me paid somehow, then that's
The way
fine.
I see it, we should be compensated for delivery and rescue.
For sure. That's at least double, if not triple, because his life would be forfeit without us.
I'll let you guys do the negotiating.
Yeah, so what's happening now is y'all are gonna go kind of north back up to the trail to head west and then south, kind of doing a U-turn along the map there. And what you're gonna find out from Sildar as you're going through and walking and doing the wonderful old-fashioned traveling is that there are three Rock Seeker brothers. Gundren, who was your patron, Tharden and Nundro. They recently located an entrance to the long-lost Wave Echo Cave, site of the mines of Phandelver's Pact. So you may remember some of that from the original history that was divulged when we started the campaign. So Clark, the bugbear who led the goblin band until you took his head, had orders to waylay Gundren, and Sildar and Gundren were taken by that band of goblins. Their patron was somebody named the Black Spider. And that's about all you know. Sildar doesn't know who or what the Black Spider is. That's just who the goblins were working for. Gundren also had a map showing the secret location of Wave Echo Cave, but the goblins took it when they captured him. Sildar believes that Clark sent the map and Gundren to um, the chief of the Cragmaws at a place called Cragmaw Castle. Sildar doesn't know where that is, but somebody in Phandalin may know. So there are some folks in Phandalin that are Sildar's contacts. And his main contact in Phandalin right now is a human wizard named Iarno Albrecht. Iarno Albrecht is a wizard who traveled to the town about 2 months ago to establish order there. After the Lord's Alliance received no word from Iarno, Sildar was dispatched there to investigate what happened. So he is offering you, as a party, 50 gold pieces to provide additional escort, in addition to what you've already been contracted for. However, he can't pay that out of his pocket because obviously he was kidnapped and he's got nothing. So he can secure a loan from additional contacts he's got in Fandolin. And because you cleared out the cave, you pretty much earned that commission. Um, so he is going to remain with your party for a bit, but he is very anxious to reach Fandolin as quickly as possible. And he doesn't have any weapons or armor, obviously. So if
Pretty
there are
deadly.
things, yeah, if there are things out of what you've gained that you'd like to give to him, you could do that. Um, but again, because you kind of did things a little backwards of the way the scenario was written in here, not much of a point because you're not going to see combat, quite frankly. So again, I'm trying to break character a little bit and DM advise some people, um, which is one of the fun challenges I have trying to work through a book is that I can only do a little bit of improv. Um, or I can do a lot of improv and just disregard the book completely. So I believe
I'd
that
like
I
to get
have
my
go
I'd
ahead.
like to get my payday, so let's get this show on the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe I have already distributed the treasure amongst the party. So in the book it says Yemik, who is the goblin we most recently killed, carries a pouch containing 3 gold teeth and 15 silver pieces. Sildar's gear, along with Gundred Rockseeker, who was taken to Cragmaw Castle. So all of this stuff that I've mentioned before. So any questions from the party?
I don't think so.
No.
All right. So as a result of making it through this scenario, I believe everybody is also at level 2 now, which should be reflected by everybody.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So let me switch maps and we will hopefully very briefly get into the town of Fandolin. Nope, not that one. Ignore that.
That is a town.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find the right one. Pretend y'all didn't see that one.
This is not the map you're looking for.
Yep, that was the DM map. So, as you might recall from the previous map, we approached, or we basically did a big U. So we went from where the mountains were, went north, and then west, and then south. And then now we are all here at the northern reaches of the town of Fandolin. So basically, this is what you all can see. What would you like to do?
Go ahead.
I say we take this guy, take him where he goes, and tell him to give us the rest of the money road.
Yeah, I like that. Time to get paid.
I like money.
You like money. So you're letting Sildar tell you where to go?
Sure.
If
Oh,
he
he said
knows
that
where
he
we're
needed
going,
to.
right?
Yeah, he said he needed to secure funds to pay us the rest of our bounty. So let's do that.
Okay. So the 5 of you now, with the carriage in tow and the horses, whatever that you had kept safe, are going to just head south along this main road into town. And you will find yourselves basically in kind of a town square kind of a deal.
Mhm.
I need another view here real quick. Hold on. So what you find out is the building here in blue is the town master's hall.
Mhm.
So Sildar goes in there and talks to a couple folks. And sorry, red building. My bad. This one here. That's the town master's hall. So Sildar goes in there. He talks to a couple folks, and basically you get nothing of significance out of him. And he says, "You know what? Let's go relax. Let's go and have a couple drinks at the inn." So what you're going to do is you are then going to move a little bit north here to the to the Stone Hill Inn. So as you walk in, there's a couple of, normal barflies in there and a female bartender. So the question is, what would you like to do?
Does he have our money?
Let me read this for you. So in the center of town stands a large, newly built roadhouse of fieldstone and rough-hewn timbers. The common room is filled with locals nursing mugs of ale or cider, all of them eyeing you with curiosity. So the modest inn has 6 rooms for rent, and Sildar is going to take one. So this is the place where he's kind of doing as his home base, essentially. So this was largely his final destination.
Okay. So he went to the town master, and then now we're here. Does he have the money?
He will not have it today. You will expect it to get it sometime early tomorrow morning.
Uh-huh.
Let me see.
Are they rustling it up, or does somebody else need to come to town with the money?
Well, so he had to get a loan, and
Oh, so he
the
doesn't
town,
actually have the money. He has to get a
correct,
loan to pay us. I've heard this song and dance before.
right? So the money's there.
It's not his money. Somebody's money will be paying us.
Mm,
So I'm thinking that I'm gonna look over at him like until our money is collected, you and my little friend here, Hamburglar, are gonna stay together, and he'll let me know if you try to leave town in the night or in the morning before we're up and about. And I just command Hamburglar to kind of stay with him. Or have that,
yeah,
I'm gonna order a drink.
yeah, and if you wanted to do an insight check on him, what you would find out is that he's largely telling the truth. Like he's not trying to screw you guys over or anything. He just, got robbed, so he literally doesn't have anything.
Hamburglar will know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, is he like carrying a bag or anything like that? Like he's got his own pouch of things?
Yeah, like he basically, when you recovered him, was in like a loincloth,
Right, but we have his
and
stuff
that's
that
about
they
it.
stole, right? Like we have his stuff.
Yes.
So he put his shit back on, right?
Yeah, so you did recover his stuff,
Or do
and
we
it's
have his
largely
stuff?
just
Like it's
like a traveling warrior's gear. Like it was leather armor, it was
But he's got like a
a short
a
sword.
bag, right? Like he's got like some sort of backpack.
I mean, yeah, he would add some like this, like some pouches and like a leather backpack, but at this
Okay.
point, with the goblins cleared it out, so
Okay.
the guy's basically got nothing but himself.
For the clothes on his back.
Right. This may not be the best imagery to bring up, but this is a lively town square. You've arrived here, kind of in the evening, so a lot of people are done with the day of work and are mingling and having a good time.
Okay. That's cool. So we don't get the feeling like he's gonna run off overnight.
No,
He is
absolutely
going
not.
he is gonna pay us. Okay.
Yeah, everything you're getting off of this guy is he's a legit character. Like he's in the parlance of D&D, he is a neutral good NPC.
Okay.
So we have a high basis of faith that he's going to follow through with what he said.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's nothing about him that indicates that he's untoward.
Okay. So we'll see money tomorrow. Now he was saying that there's an informant in town.
He has a few contacts, yes.
How much money are we getting from this split? That's what I'd like to know.
It's already in your inventory. I forget what it was because that was now a month ago in real time. But I did distribute it amongst everybody.
So I got 7 gold in my pouch, is what it says.
This was all money though that we got from the
Right.
cave.
Right. You
But
haven't been
he
paid
still has
for
to pay us for the escort, the original escort, and then the additional compensation for rescuing his ass.
Right. So now you've been in the bar a few minutes. You saw the female bartender, and what you do see now is the proprietor of the Stonehill Inn is a short, uh, young human male. So you notice the bartender, relatively youthful female, maybe in her 20s or 30s. So you also see this male is roughly the same age, and his name is Toblin Stonehill, hence Stonehill Tavern or Stonehill Inn. I mean, um, so he's going around and he's doing the good proprietor thing. He's introducing himself to everybody that he doesn't know already. You can see he's got a repertoire with the locals, coming around just talking to everybody. So he's somebody that you can interact with as a party, if you so choose. Um, but other than that, you're hearing a bunch of random conversation. You can hear some things about what's going on around town. You're overhearing some things that are maybe of interest to you that are happening on the east side of town.
So what's happening? Is there anything interesting, or is it all just drama and scuttlebutt?
Well, that depends. Right now, you're just talking to yourselves because you've walked in as a group. You do discern that the bartender is the female bartender is the innkeeper's wife, and her name is Trelena.
So
Oof.
after, I guess I turn to you guys and I go, so if this guy doesn't have any more work for us, what was your plan after this?
I mean,
I really had no plan per se.
yeah.
I'm just kind of floating around looking for some. I got someone of interest I'm looking into, but that's about it. Kind of making the money enough to sleep and drink for the next day.
Yeah, you see Vandross just kind of pantomime like a boxing match.
I was just going to be looking for my next opportunity. That's all.
What about you, friend? You said you were on the scent of something.
I'm looking for someone, and they've drugged me halfway across this world. And I had a lead that they were around here somewhere in a cave. That was the best information I got out of a knoll that I choked to death recently. And unfortunately, that went cold when we cleared that place out, and there wasn't anything in there worth a damn. So now I have to either backtrack to my last point of origin where I knew anything of importance, or if I can still dig up anything around here. I'm not one to give up easily, so I don't want to have to backtrack halfway across the world again. But I have no problem sticking around here. My wares and abilities pay me well when I'm in town. When we were coming in here, did we see any sort of like smith or like a weapon shop or any sort of character shop like that?
You did see some things of interest on your way in, yes. So, as you came south along that road, based on noise and smoke, you can determine that you walk past a smithy. And also across from the smithy, on the north side of town, it looked like there was a provisions shop. So you would have discerned that. As you looked around in the square, you would have also noticed that there's some farms around town. If you talk to some people and if you overhear some conversation, you determine there's kind of like a miners exchange kind of thing to the south. You would have seen that there's kind of like a woodworking shop, like uh, like a mill kind of thing. Also, to the south of the town hall, and then to the east is largely residential stuff. There's another inn called the Sleeping Giant to the east of where we're at now in the Stonehill Inn. Less of a tavern inn and more of just like a straight hotel kind of thing. And then some other stuff over to the east.
Okay. What was that big building that we came in? I saw that was east. Was that anything important?
Yes, so let me throw up the map again so everybody can see it. That one.
Yeah, it looks like there's a big house up on a hill over there. What's that about?
You want to ping it for me?
Yeah, this guy here. I don't know if I'm doing the ping.
So when you
Here?
click on it, you gotta click on the ping part. So point and ping, and then have to click on the ping.
Which button is ping? I just see pan or
It's the
select.
crosshair.
Yeah, above the person icon, point and ping.
Left hand toolbar below the
I
roller.
don't think I have that.
You do.
There we
If
go.
Talking
you look
about
at
up
the
here?
street, there you go.
Yeah.
That thing.
Well, all you know right now is what you can see off of this map is that it is definitely a big mansion-looking place up on a hill.
Okay. I walk up
That's
to
interesting.
the bartender and ask what's good around town. My first time here. What do I need to know about Fandolin?
And he says, "Oh, my goodness, there's so much going on around town. Yeesh. So I take it you have met Elmar Barthen of Barthen's Provisions,
I haven't
which
been
you
there
haven't,
yet, but
but that is the red building to the north of where we're at now, the red square. So the
okay.
big red building, that's Barthen's Provisions, which you gather. Um, Another thing that he tells you is that there is a shrine to the west of where you're at. So if you're looking at the map here, roughly where we're at, it's this thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a
Shrine to whom?
shrine tended by Sister Gorel.
But who is the
So
shrine to?
you don't know yet, and he
Okay.
doesn't have enough knowledge to elaborate further.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of talk back and forth a little bit to him, and he tells you, well, there's the orchard over here. That's by the Eldermaths, so that's Eldermath Orchard. That's all. That's about all he's going to tell you about that. Sister Gorel's house is right there by the shrine. Another important person about town is the Alderleafs. So their farm is right about, looking at too many maps at one time, over here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the Alderleaf farm is. And if I switch the map up a little bit here, drag it, there we go. Now you can see the actual farmland here, right there.
Okay. I asked the
Okay.
bartender, I go, when we were coming in from the north, I saw a big house on a hill on the east. What's up with that? Somebody live there?
So there's been a little trouble about town. There's a group called the Red Brands that have kind of taken over a little bit. That house used to be a very noble family, a very respected family called the Tresendars. Uh, they died out a little bit ago. Normal medieval kind of story where uh, plague hit the family, and eventually there were no more heirs left. So as you can see from the map here, the house has kind of fallen into disrepair. The town of Fandolin has fallen a little bit on hard times, and these ruffians have moved in and kind of established a base there. So right
So
now, the, it's a place where he tells you to stay away from and don't ask too many questions about.
so a bunch of thieves and burglars set up shop in a manor house and no one's done shit about it?
Yeah, they're a peaceful
Hmm.
people. Um, they're just trying to make a living.
The law in this part of town in this part of the world hasn't done anything about it.
No, I mean they had a sheriff, as you inquire about, or whatever the equivalent of a sheriff is in this place, and he was essentially killed by the ruffians because, uh, again, relatively peaceful place, and kind of caught him by surprise.
Do they march into town and make trouble, or do they keep to themselves?
Oh, they treat the town like they own it.
So this was an old manor house of an old noble family.
Hmm.
I wonder what was left up there.
Good question.
If the ruffians weren't here anymore, how happy would the town be?
I think they'd be grateful if somebody were able to free them of the grip of the red brands. However, nobody's willing to really stand up because they've got too much to lose.
I see. Any idea how many people are in there? Like, I'm sure that they come and go, fairly regularly. Has anyone ever gotten an accurate count of how many there are?
No, no, nobody dares go up on the hill.
Would you
Uh,
say 5, 10? I mean, come on, spitball a number.
Yeah,
oh,
when they murdered your constable, was there 20 of them in the town square or what?
I mean, there's got to be at least 10 folks that are just kind of patrolling around the town,
So
and
they
who
have
knows
their
how
own
many more up there.
they have their own guys just patrolling around the town. Did we
Yeah,
notice them as we came in?
you would not have noticed them yet. No.
So let me ask a dumb question. They act like they own the town. If something else came to harass the town, or if somebody had, do they do anything about it, or do they just let that shit happen?
It hasn't occurred yet. Since the red brands came in, nobody has really been able to stand up to them.
You said the
'Cause,
word red brand. Do I recognize that name of any sort of like band of hoodlums or like from something else or
you know what, just for funsies, roll a check of some kind. I don't even care which.
how about um oh, I don't even know what I would use. How about intelligence?
Sure. It doesn't really matter. I'm just curious to
I am
what the
so
dice
bad at
says.
this.
A 5.
I don't
Not a
know
one.
shit.
Nope.
Given my background in networks, would I have maybe heard this name within our channels?
Go ahead and roll. So for a 5, you've heard of the red brands, but that's about it.
Just a name in town.
Yep.
Okay. Go for it, dog.
Trying to think of, I guess I would probably be using a history check to rely on my memory.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I don't even care which check. I'm just curious to see what the dice comes up with.
17.
17. That's pretty good.
17. Okay. So with the 17, what you discern is that the red brands kind of have a small network. Um, they're like a small time gang. They've got they've got a small presence in a lot of the major towns and a larger presence in a bunch of the smaller towns. Basically, their whole MO is just subjugate the people and uh, steal the pittances that they can from the outlying towns so that they can then kind of do the good old mafia Ponzi scheme of making their overlords happy.
Are
Um,
okay.
so pretty well organized, but
Do you relay this to us?
Yeah, I'd pass this information on to you guys.
So I look over at him, I look at you and I go, so are they like us? I've heard of everybody's heard of the Zentarum. They reach pretty far and wide. Are these a
Mm.
sub faction of these assholes, or is this just a wannabe group of tryhards?
Brett,
What do you think?
I'm gonna say they're a
I I,
small
I say
time.
I say that in to everybody. Like,
Eh, from my knowledge of groups, they're just a small time outfit, spread out through multiple locations, but small timers.
do
And
I
that's fairly accurate, yeah.
do I think that Brett, do I think that if we were to run these guys off slash kill them all, that would that would fall the town on even worse problems, or would that be a good thing?
Uh, from what you gather talking to the townspeople, you can't really tell for sure. What all of you know from your various backgrounds is that um, if you don't take out the problem root and stem, uh, then the problem will come back. So, like, if you just take away the patrollers, what that's going to lead to is a harsher crackdown on the town. So, what you would know from your experiences is that if you're going to do this, like, you have to pursue the whole line,
I
um,
think
at
what we're
least
trying to
locally.
I think we're trying to understand is if we remove them root and stem, is it just going to create a power vacuum for someone else to come in?
Not even a power vacuum, but I mean, if these guys have like have like their own, carrier pigeon network, like where they send their information up to Tribor or Mirabar or wherever else, um, stuff like that. If they don't check in every fortnight, is another group of 20 dudes going to come down here and sack the place?
That would be the case. But again, from your experiences, what you'd be able to discern is that if you took out more than just the patrollers and you went further and hit the root of the problem in the area, odds are they're not gonna they're not gonna they're not gonna attack what they could perceive as a stronger force.
Okay.
As long as we keep them from sending any messages out or anyone escaping.
Mhm. So I lean onto the bar, talk to the guy. It's not as loud as it was. I go, so, and this is, I don't have an inside voice as a real person, so I just kind of lean over and I just go, so how many of these guys walk around the town at a given time?
Oh my goodness! There we go. This is actually what I meant to bring up earlier. There we go.
Pip the
Look at
troll.
all those
Hell yeah.
wonderful people.
Yeah. How many people are there are off wandering around during these times? Are they all stationary or do they wander around in a circle?
I mean, they're it's a tavern. They're talking to each other. It's a small town. They all know each other, minus you four. Well, minus us four, I should say, because technically I'm part of the party. Um, you do notice that the kid named Pip comes in. He appears to be the child of Toblin and Trelena. Um, and then yeah, you've gathered some names from listening in
Okay.
of the other four folks, and there's a couple other people that are not consequential.
So yeah, I say to Toblin, I say, how many people are wandering around? Like, are they doing a patrol or are they just hanging around being assholes some places?
He so he basically says, what I can tell you is they're based out of the Sleeping Giant. They usually walk around the town between two and four people. Um, but aside from the folks that are based in the manor, that's really all that they know. So those are like the enforcers if you're thinking of like a mafioso kind of a thing. So
So the thugs live
tho-
at the other tavern,
yeah, so
basically.
they're basically hanging out at the Sleeping Giant, and then there's a larger party over the main.
Do they have an actual leader? Did they come in with some asshole who's wearing a way better cloak than everybody else, or are they just a bunch of so and so's?
So you talk for a couple minutes and gather a couple random pieces of information, but what you do find out is that these folks are working effectively under the network established by the Black Spider.
The Black Spider. Have I ever heard of that?
That was the guy that our fellow, our recently rescued mentioned may have organized his capture.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's where it's ringing a
That is
bell.
correct.
okay. So that doesn't sound great. So the Black Spider a person, or is it a bigger organization?
That is all you know. You don't know if it's a male. You don't know if it's a female. You don't know if it's a bunch of people. You
Gotcha.
just know that they answer to the Black Spider.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Wonder how much our new friend would be willing to pay to have the guy that tried to take him out taken care of.
Uh, are you saying this to somebody or
I'm
just to the
talking to
group?
the my
Hmm.
two companions here. No, three companions.
Anyways, if we're going to get involved in this, there has to be some sort of payout or reason.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I've dealt with people like this before in a lot of places. And generally, if things like this are starting to take hold in the smallest parts of the world, that means shit's gotten wrong. So, I hate to see this kind of stuff spread. It's like a cancer.
Well,
The problem,
personally,
I think if we cleared them out, first of all, the town would be reasonably happy. Maybe we get paid from somebody, but also whatever's up in that manor, if there's anything left, could be worth its weight.
they've been doing shaking these people down. There might be a small horde up there.
Yeah, we
Might be
don't know
worth
what's
a.
left up there, and if there's somebody who's in charge, maybe we can shake him down for more information. The Black Spider isn't exactly who I'm looking for, but they might have heard a yarn about what I'm looking for. So,
Yeah, they
And
could tie in for you.
as you look around and you're kind of gauging what Toblin and Terlena have told you, and some of the other conversation around, you kind of get the impression that the town might be a little bit grateful if you help them out with their attacker problem. They're definitely not fond of the red brands.
nobody should be.
Then maybe we should start scouting out, gather some information, find out if we can pick these guys off, and then work our way up the hill, or head straight for up the hill first. So
I
they couldn't
definitely
give
like
us
to
a.
investigate first.
We talk to some of the, is there anyone else in the bar that looks like we could talk to without maybe, I don't want to start accidentally talk to someone that might be sympathetic to these people, or
For sure.
I definitely don't want to talk to a house mouse. So for me, I'd like to take the rest of the evening to try and gather some additional information.
All right, so we've got the four folks that I have pointed out in the bar there. Is there anybody you'd like to talk to? Well, and the barkeeps as well. Is there anybody you'd like to ask any questions to?
Uh, I'll let you guys go first if you have any thoughts.
Let's see.
Mhm.
The two old men at the table, are they sitting together or are the two women sitting together?
The two old men are sitting together, and the two women are sitting together, kind of gossiping each to each other after a hard day's work.
Is that a. I want to be skeezy or not? I'm gonna go talk to the two old men, offer to buy them a drink for their thoughts.
Great.
Okay.
For that, I might talk to the two ladies, see if I can make friends.
All right. So we'll start with the two old men. So Narth is an old farmer, and through a little bit of conversation and thanks to a little bit of beer greasing the gears, he tells you that Sister Gorel, who oversees the Shrine of Luck, recently left town for a few days, and then she returned wounded and exhausted. So he's very curious about that. And then Lennar, who's an old miner, tells you that the orc raiders have been seen in the east end of Tribord Trail, which is kind of the path that you guys were on when you went to the cave. Uh, and the town master is looking for somebody to run them off.
Some orc
Um,
raiders.
hmm And some of that you may have done already, and there may be more. You don't
So,
know, but that's what you
do,
overhear and get.
do I hear anything about maybe the run in with the red brands and the orc raiders? Kind of have they clashed? I mean, are the red brands keeping those orcs out of the town?
I mean, yeah, the orcs, their MO is more the 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 path that you guys took to get to the town.
Yeah,
They don't bother the town itself too much. So they're more
just some
worried
more
about waylaying the
highwayman style.
travelers. Yeah.
Okay.
But the farmer and the miner are mostly concerned with what's happening around town, so they could really kind of care less about what's happening outside of the town.
So
They don't really leave the town.
I'm going to ask them kind of the questions we asked the bartender. You know, numbers, patrol paths. Try to kind of get out any additional information on them, any intel on
Yeah,
this
you
group.
really get about the same. They see like 2 to 4 people walking around the town. They'll rough some folks up if they get a little bit rowdy, but other than that, they're just kind of mafia enforcers.
Now, is there a place they like to hang out at, or is this bar where they like to drink, or do they drink back at their hideout? Is there a restaurant or any place within town that they go to and congregate at?
Yeah, so they've taken over the Sleeping Giant Inn a little bit, and
That's
then
over in the east, right?
yep, just to the east of where you're at, and then the manor house as well. That's about all you're able to squeeze out of those two old men. Uh,
Okay.
as some of us who identify as grumpy old men, they don't talk too much, so that's about all you get out of them. Now, Elindra, talking to the ladies,
Mhm.
a little bit different story. So Elsa is actually a barmaid here at the bar. So she talks about Darren Eldermath, who is the orchard keeper. He was a former adventurer, and she regales you with some of his braggadocio exploits, none of which really
Mhm.
stick with you, other than the big piece that you take away is he's a retired adventurer. So that
Okay.
could be of some importance. It may not be, who knows? Um, and then Frida. Frida is a weaver, and she's one of the folks that kind of has a little bit more intel on the red brands. So she kind of tells you that they're kind of exploiting every business in town, except for the miners' exchange. So they don't want trouble with Halia Thornton, who runs the miners' exchange.
Oh, that's interesting. Is Halia a male or a female?
Female.
What do we know about Halia? She's a female.
She's a fucking tough lady, and even the red brands are like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this.
Huh.
So she's kind of the one holdout in town that the red brands haven't messed with a whole lot. And it kind of makes sense, you know. The miners' exchange has a bunch of tough dudes around it. That's where people are trading all of the gems and gold and whatever else that's around. So that's pretty much the most fortified place in town. So that kind of gives you a gauge of where the red brands are at in the hierarchy. They're willing to kind of screw over the normal folks, but the people that can actually protect themselves they're not messing around with too much.
Have they been causing any particular problems for the women in town?
You know, nothing outside of what you might expect. They're a bunch of young men who are horny, so you know they try to get with the ladies that they can. Other than that, um, you know, they're just there to kind of exploit the businesses. So you've now spent, let's say, 4 or 5 hours in the bar, having a good time, talking to each other, talking to the people. Uh, we're at a point now where we need to figure out as a party, what are we going to do next? Are we going to turn in for the night and then walk around the town, get a feel for it in the morning, or is there some other concrete action we'd like to take?
It's the evening. Most of the shops are going to be closed up, so I'm of the mind
Yeah.
to call it a night.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get too far tonight.
we've got some information. There's some things we can get on. We can sleep on some choices. I have a couple ideas that I want to you know, think about.
All right, so there's a couple choices we have to turn in for the night. There are a couple rooms here left at the Stonehill Inn. There are a bunch of farms around town where you can try to bum a hayloft or whatever. And there's also the Sleeping Giant where the Red Brands are staying.
I'm going to stay here. This is where our piggy bank's currently sleeping. So
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave where
Yeah.
my where the guy who's actually got the money that I wandered into is gonna be. I'm not gonna leave that guy out. I don't think we need
Yeah.
to leave him.
All right,
then
fantastic.
like I said, Hamburglar is going to be with him, and just kind of keeping an eye on things while we all sleep.
All right, so we're gonna have a restful night's sleep. The rooms are not great. You know, small town tavern inn, so a little bit of noise, a lot of smell of old straw and old beer. But otherwise fairly comfortable. Not a bad place to sleep compared to what a lot of you guys have gone through in the past. Um, so we get up in the morning, brand new day. Breakfast is served. Fantastic breakfast. Eggs that don't cost $12 a dozen.
Awesome.
Uh,
It's a good start right there.
I'm enjoying my $3 eggs. I can't complain.
yeah. So, what do we think as a party we'd like to do as our next step? Are we going to keep walking around the town, or do we want to try and do something more, shall we say, aggressive?
I need to I need to go and replenish supplies. I need to get some more arrows and replenish my supplies from our little adventure in the cave.
Okay. Alindra?
Yeah. I would like to walk around town and get my own sense and feel, I think.
Okay. And Thanic, what would you like to do?
Well, I got two things I'm thinking about. The first one doesn't even I don't even really have to leave here. Um, they have the bartender and his wife. They have a kid, right?
Pip?
Pip. Kid. And there were other families that live here. This is a decent sized place, maybe 150 people probably in this village.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I'm trying to, figure some stuff out. So on my way out, what I want to do is I want to talk to the kid, and I want to try to get him to see if I can get him to find me some information because kids are real small. They can get into everything. They can run around without being noticed. Nobody thinks about a kid. So my goal is to ask the kid, and I can give him a shiny silver piece if it helps him be motivated. If he would like to be able to maybe count however many he can see of these guys. I'm sure he's seen a lot of these red brand people wandering around, but I bet he knows where they like to wander. See if he can maybe maybe if him and his friends can get an accurate count of how many people they think are around.
I love this. So
But I want
you
to.
go ahead.
I'll give the kid another silver piece if he can describe, who looks strong and what kind of weapons they have. See if they're well fitted or are they just, are they in leather armor? Are they plate? Giant swords, nice swords, rusty swords. Just in general, trying to get a feel for how well prepared they are.
Yeah. So Pip is a little intimidated by Geth because he looks a little bit shady. Uh, so you get a little bit of information about him, but what everybody notices is Dragonborn are pretty rare in this part of town. So he is just completely enamored with Thanic. So you see Thanic kind of crouch down and like wiggle his tail and do some other stuff that really kind of makes Pip giggle a little bit and kind of establishes that little bit of rapport. So what you find out from him is that Quaileen Alderleaf's son, whose name is Carp,
Mhm.
found a secret tunnel in the woods. The Red Brands almost caught him, but because he's a little kid, he's pretty sneaky. He was able to get away. Um, and through this story, you establish that they've pretty much just got, uh, leather armor, basic leather armor, some knives and short swords. Like nothing, they're not super organized, they're not super well funded. They're just kind of run of the mill thugs, is what you gather from the kid's description.
Mhm. So he knows where the cave is, or this other kid knows where the cave is.
Carp knows where the secret tunnel in the woods is.
Okay. I ask Pip. I go, would your friend like to tell me where this cave is? Could he? Does he wanna know? Does he wanna give up that information for something for himself?
Yeah, so he is all about it. Like I said, he's kind of enamored with you as a dragonborn because you are uh, completely unusual, quite frankly.
Yeah.
So what you do know is the Alderley Farm is this area over here.
Okay. That makes sense if the kid is out there playing in the woods. Okay.
So if you'd like to talk to Carp, you can find him on his family farm.
Okay. Sweet. That's definitely what I want to do.
And I think this is as good a place as any to wrap it up for the night. Like I told us earlier today, keeping it short, I think is a good idea. So what we need to do in our private chat throughout the week or two that we will be off is figure out what the party would like to do. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm going to say, for the sake of fun, that a lot of these details that I accidentally showed earlier.
I don't
Mhm.
remember any of them, honestly.
Neither do
I
I.
remember one.
I saw the word smithy is what I saw.
Yeah, so you basically figured out this bit of the map through all the conversations because you
Oh,
guys did talk to a lot of folks.
I mean, a lot of this stuff makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff makes sense. I mean, found out the miners' trail. We know where the hall is. The other sleeping giant. A couple of farms.
There's definitely
Tresendor
people
Manor.
I want to talk to in there.
Yeah, so I have some stuff mapped out for all of those places and more, uh, as we may recall or not.
Yep.
We're currently in the Stonehill Inn, and Sildar had also talked to the town master at the town master's hall.
Okay.
Other places of note that we talked about were the Eldermath household, which is the orchard here to the northwest, the Alderley farm to the southeast,
There's the
Mhm.
meth
the
house.
miners exchange to the southwest. And then we talked about the smithy that you guys would have seen on your way in, and the provisions, the Barthen's provisions on
What
the way.
What's the Lion Shield Coster? Is that like a armor shop?
You don't know yet.
Oh, okay. So who are the people that were saying they want the orcs run out? Was that the Elder Math people?
That was one of the miners was talking about
The
him and his
miners
buddy.
were. Okay.
That was Lennar the miner, yes.
Okay.
Mm.
I mean,
I definitely think that Halia and I are going to become friends.
mm,
I could see that, knowing you as my actual life.
it seems like there's a lot of work to do around this town that might bode well for us both financially and
And
for information.
yeah, also
Yeah.
perhaps independently and as a group.
Yeah, so what we'll get into is part of your reward's going to be taking that carriage to Barthen's Provisions.
Hmm.
That was your original charge. There's going to be a reward from Sildar, and then there's some other things around town that'll make sense. So when we resume, hopefully in the background we'll do some of the boring stuff, and we'll figure out what Geth's provisions are that he wants to gather, what all that stuff is. And then when we come back for our next session, we'll start to figure out what you guys actually want to do aside from go shopping.
Okay.
I've got friends to make. It'll happen.
Got some
So
plans to make.
Excellent.
with that, I hope everybody has a fantastic week. I'm sorry it took us like a month to do our next session, but uh, life happens. It's been a crazy, crazy month. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you again soon.